Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name's James. I'm the candidate coach. It is great to be coming to you today. We're going to have a great session today. We are going to talk about how you can perform really well at interview. Because for many of you, you've worked so hard. When it comes to the point that you've actually landed an interview, you think, fantastic, so much hard work has gone into it. But now you kind of have to start again. We've got to start the hard work again. It's a stepping stone to getting towards, hopefully, landing the job that you want. So today is the first of two sessions. We're going to talk about preparation and how you can perform well in the interview today. And then on Tuesday next week, we're going to follow that up with how you can actually answer interview questions really, really well. So the next session is solely focused on that, solely focused on the types of questions that you're going to be asked and how can you give great answers to questions that you are asked at interview. It's great to be coming to you today via our YouTube channel. You'll be watching us on many of our partner sites. You might also be watching us on our Facebook live stream. Good morning or good afternoon if you're watching us on Facebook. For those of you on our partner sites, we've got a chat function that you can interact with today. If you're on our Facebook page, we won't be able to see your chat messages, but it is great to have you watching us today. All righty, let's get stuck into what we're going to learn. So just a little bit of housekeeping before we go any further. If I do drop out for any reason today, please stay on the line. Just occasionally, the internet gets disconnected when you run regular workshops. So stay here and I will jump back online. Feel free to use the chat box to ask questions and take notes as we're going along today. But you'll also be able to watch a replay of today's session via our YouTube channel. So a bit about me, your presenter, James Whitcomb. I've been working in recruitment since 2005, where I'm a director at Smart Recruitment. And at Smart, I've conducted over 3,000 individual interviews myself and over 600 group assessments. So my coaching for you today is going to be based on that experience. Over 3,500 interviews up, and I've placed well over 1,000 people into work. In particular at Smart, we do focus on recruiting a lot of roles where soft skills and interview behavior are the key. And I have watched many candidates get the job, not because they're the most qualified, not because they're the most experienced, but because they've performed the best in the interview room. So if you can perform really well in the interview room, you can leapfrog a lot of other candidates in the application process. And we launched the Candidate Coach, the platform we're meeting on today in December 2019, because we wanted to provide a platform for you, the job seeker, where you could come and get access to a lot of great content all under one roof. All right, today, what are we going to learn? We're really going to break it down into three parts. So first of all, we're going to look at pre-interview. So what do you need to do before you even get to the interview to work really well? We're going to talk about getting the basics right before the interview, the preparation you do. We're then going to look at in the interview room, what you actually need to do in the interview room to impress, what are recruiters really looking for, and what are some of the little things that you can do to make all the difference. We'll then look at post-interview. So the interview's done, but you don't stop here. What do you do next? How do you keep on pressing after the interview? And as I said, next week, we're going to go dive in. Tuesday at 10 a.m. back here where you're watching this now, we're going to talk about how to give great answers to questions at interview, because that is a really big challenge. All right, pre-interview. So situation, you have just whoops, sorry, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. There's one rule here, and that's all about preparation. And you're probably thinking, James, you sound like a boring old man. You sound like a boring old man when you say preparation is the key. It's what everybody says. Well, everybody says it because it's right, and particularly with interviews. If you can prepare really well, if you can do everything really, really well at home, you're going to perform really, really well in the interview room. So preparation is the key. But I want you to embrace preparation. Preparation is your friend because it's something that you can do. Preparing well for interview is something that every candidate can do. You might be the least qualified person they're going to meet, but if you are the best prepared candidate that they've met, you can really stand out. So embrace preparation. I want you to embrace it. I want you to enjoy the journey that we go on. All right, so let's imagine we've got a situation. You've just landed a job interview. Woohoo! You're on the phone. The recruiter said, hey, we want to see you for an interview. Let's lock in a time. All right, next week at 10 o'clock, we're going to see you. Fantastic. How are you feeling? You are feeling absolutely over the moon. Pick an emoticon here. Normally, it's one of the top ones, and then normally it's one of the bottom ones as well. You're excited and you're nervous, and so it's a little bit of a combination of these two things. But you must ask some questions before you hang up the phone. So don't just confirm the time and run off and say, Mum, Dad, husband, wife, brother, friend, I've got a job interview. You need to actually ask some questions. This is a key moment. This is a key moment in your preparation. So there's questions that you need to ask before you hang up the phone. So let's go through them all. First of all, who am I meeting with? It's really important that you understand who you're going to be meeting with at the interview, what they do and what they are, because look at these people, the recruiter, the HR manager, the line manager, the CEO. You need to know which person am I meeting with? Because if you're meeting with the CEO, it's probably going to be quite different if you're meeting with the recruiter. You need to get an understanding of who it is that you are going along to meet. Look them up on LinkedIn and get an understanding of who they are. And then you can mention this in your interview. If you want to stand out, mention it to the CEO. I checked out your LinkedIn profile. I saw that you're interested in this or you're very passionate about this. Show that you are doing some research here. Use this information to really stand out. All right, the second question you need to ask is, what should I expect at the interview next week? It is a very broad question. It is open-ended, but it could give you some real insight into what to expect at the interview. Some of the things you do need to know is it an individual interview or is it a group interview? You actually need to learn a bit more about what is going to happen. What are some of the questions that I'll be asked at interview? This is really, really good, because if you know the questions, you can go and practice those questions. Is it going to be behavioral-based questions? Is it going to be technical questions about the job? Find out here. What should I wear to the interview? It sounds like an obvious question, but you need to know. You want to dress appropriately for the organization. You might be thinking, look, I should just wear a suit. But maybe when you get there in a suit and no one else is wearing a suit, you think, oh, I wish I'd asked what to wear. What is parking like, or what is transport like? How am I going to get there? You need to be early and arrive relaxed. How long will the interview take? Maybe you're going to go and attend the interview during work hours or during a lunch break. But is it a 30-minute interview? Is it a 20-minute interview? Is it a 2.5-hour group assessment? You need to understand. Also, because some people do short interviews, the CEO might only meet with you for 10 minutes if that's who's doing the interview. But if you don't know in advance it's only going to be a 10-minute interview, when it suddenly ends, you might think, oh dear, CEO's leaving after 10 minutes. I've really bombed out. Whereas he meets everybody for 10 minutes. What do I need to bring along with me? You want to be well organized. Not bringing the correct information actually reflects badly on you. And sometimes you don't have the correct information because the recruiter's forgotten to tell you. So ask the question, what do I need to bring along? And now the most important question of all, everything we've asked so far is really, really good. But the next question is the one. The next question is the one that can make you really, really get a head start on the other candidates. And that question is, what can I do to impress at interview? Now, you might not get an answer to this question, but if you do, fantastic. The recruiter might say, oh, well, look, you're meeting with the finance manager. And the finance manager doesn't really ask many questions apart from wanting to really understand your technical accounting skills. Or they might say, you're meeting with the finance manager, but in this first interview, we just want to know about your values and beliefs. Or you're going to be meeting with the CEO, and the CEO likes to get straight down to detail and wants to understand what your key achievements are. I can't tell you what the answer is going to be to this question, but if you find out what the answer is going to be, then you have got a really good insight into how you can really impress and stand out at interview. So, these are the questions. Let me go back there. These are the questions. Take a screenshot of that. Take a screenshot of that. These are the questions we need to ask before we hang up the phone when we've been invited in for an interview. Okay, let's go to the next step. Let's say it's the day before an interview. Let's say we've got an interview tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, Friday morning, we've got an interview at 10 a.m. Sorry, I've gone one screen too far here. We need to get prepared today. It's the day before the interview. So what do we need to do today? We need to work out how we're going to get there. We need to make sure that our clothes are ready. Why do we need to make sure our clothes are ready today? Well, we don't want to wake up in the morning and pull out the pair of pants we planned on wearing and find out they've got a stain on them, because there won't be enough time to wash them. And you'll start to panic and you start to feel nervous, and it will distract you from doing a good job. You'll get anxious. Likewise, we want to have our shoes ready. Likewise, we want to have everything ready to go. We want to have all the documents printed out that we've been asked to bring along. We want to make sure we found our ID or our passport or our tax file number. Have everything ready to go so we don't wake up in the morning and the printers run out of ink, or we can't get to the library to print. Be organized the night before. Complete all of the assessments you've been asked to do the day before the interview. In the least, this will allow you to go to bed the night before the interview and go, okay, I'm feeling pretty prepared. You won't be lying there thinking, I've got to iron my shirt, I've got to find the pants. Where's my belt? Oh, my shoes are still dirty. Have we run out of shoe polish? Be all organized the day before the interview. All right, beep, 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 beep. That's your alarm. You've woken up. Today's the day for the interview. You've probably not slept very well, let's be honest, but the alarm's gone off. What have we got to do today? All right, it is really important for you to have a full breakfast. This sounds a bit funny, but I like to do my interviewing in the morning. I interview in small rooms. I'm quite close to the person. A lot of candidates skip breakfast because they feel nervous and they end up having bad breath. You want to avoid having hungry breath, because if I have to interview you and you've got bad breath, it does not create a great impression. It won't be pleasurable for me, and it won't be a good outcome for you. Have breakfast. You need a full stomach. It will also help with your blood sugar levels and your ability to concentrate. All the other basics: shower, shave, brush your teeth. Avoid smoking unless you really, really have to. Give yourself plenty of time to get there. Arrive at the location about 40 minutes beforehand, but don't go to reception until 5 to 10 minutes beforehand. Take along to the interview a compendium. That is a compendium there. You can buy one of these from Officeworks, your local news agency, or something similar. If you take a compendium tucked into your shoulder, under your arm, you look really, really professional. You look organized. You look serious. You look like you really want this job. But it's also got a practical set application, because in your compendium, you are going to have with you all the things that are on the screen there. You're going to have a copy of your resume and cover letter in case the other person doesn't have one or someone joins the interview. You're going to have a copy of your elevator pitch. Watch our other episodes to learn how to create one, or watch next week's episode where we create one. You want to write down 5 or 6 questions that you can ask at the end of the interview. The reason I want you to write down 6 is because 2 or 3 of them might be answered throughout the course of the interview. So write down more than you need. Take a copy of the advertisement, take anything else like ID or information that you've been asked, take it along with you in a compendium, look professional, look organized, and you will be creating a great impression. All right, so preparation is the key. Preparation is your friend. Preparation you can do. Everything that I've asked so far, you can do. If you do it, it will increase your chances of getting the job, regardless of how suitable you are. So that's my question. And answer in the comment box for me if you're watching it on our partner sites. Answer, can you do this level of preparation? Can you do everything that I've asked? We've got an answer of yes already. Hopefully you can do this preparation. And by doing it, it's going to increase your chances of landing the job. All righty, part 2. Let's say we've got there. We're in the interview room now. What do we actually need to do? Well, I absolutely love this quote from Maya Angelou. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Often with interviews, we get caught up in the technical side of the job and the questions, but a lot of the time the person meeting with you is considering, would they like to work with you? Would they like to sit next to you maybe for 40 hours a week? So you need to try to make that other person feel comfortable around you. And if you can make them feel good and feel comfortable, it is going to increase your chances of getting the job. It probably doesn't sound very politically correct, but guess what? It is human nature. People remember how you made them feel. So you don't want to be the candidate who makes them feel a bit negative, a bit like it's going to be hard work. You want to be that person that makes them feel good about themselves. Maybe we had a laugh, we got along well, we built some rapport. So let me go through 11 tips with you for making people feel comfortable or more comfortable around you, because you can apply these tips to an interview situation, even though that's not what they're designed for. So number one, smile. Smile. Don't you love it when you are meeting with someone and they smile at you? So smile when the person comes out to meet you, as well as shake their hand and look them in the eye, but smile. Smile throughout the interview. Get your smile on. Show that you're happy to be there. Give off a confident vibe. So don't be arrogant, and you're probably going to feel nervous, but show some confidence. You deserve to be in this interview room. Sit up straight, look them in the eye, show that you're confident and you're proud to be there for that interview. Give out some compliments to the person that you're meeting. That's a lovely blazer that you're wearing. Where did you get that from? Hey, I noticed that you've been promoted 3 times since you've worked here. That's a fantastic achievement. What do you love working about here? Give a compliment to the person that you are meeting with. It doesn't need to be straight away, but at some point throughout the interview, maybe at the end of the interview, I just really want to thank you for your time. I know that you must be so busy in your role in recruitment, and so spending 30 minutes with me today is something that I really appreciate. Give out a compliment, at least one. Slow your roll. Basically, slow things down here. A lot of candidates think, I'm going to get into that interview room and I've got to go, 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 go. No. Slow things down. Take your time with your answers. Because you're going to be nervous, what that means is you are going to speak more quickly than you normally do. It's a physiological fact. When we're nervous, we often speak more quickly. So just slow things down. Just remind yourself, hey, I don't need to give this answer as quick as I can. Take a breath, take your time, and slow things down. Have open body language. So a bit like I'm sitting now, if we were talking, open body language. My arms are open, my shoulders, we've got a nice square frame there. I'm looking at you down the lens of the camera. Look the person in the eye, open body language. Avoid crossing your arms. That's closed body language. Avoid sitting on the side. That's closed body language. Avoid looking down. Open up your body language. Show that you're concentrating. Show that you're actually listening. Open body language does that, but little nods, looking the person in the eye. Use the mirroring technique. So talk to the person in the same way. If they use particular words, use those words back to them. Make that other person feel at home. This is one thing most job seekers don't realize, but the person that you're interviewing, they might not have interviewed someone themselves for 2 years. This could be their first interview ever. Particularly if they're not in the recruitment team, you're meeting a manager, they might feel nervous. So help for them to feel comfortable. Nothing wrong with having a laugh. Nothing wrong with being funny. If there's a funny moment, enjoy it. Have a laugh. Be really honest. Drop your guard a little bit. It will work in your favor. And remember to be nice. Give out those compliments, as we said. So stand out in the interview room also by impressing with your knowledge of the organization. Understand what they do and particularly what they stand for. In 2021, understanding an organization's values and beliefs and their culture is really important. You need to show how you align to those values. You need to have done your research into the organization. You need to understand the market. Show interest in the type of work that you do. Show that you're not just an employee who comes in, punches in their hours and goes home, but you find interest in your industry and bring that in to your interview. You can find out a lot of that through recent media and publications. So do your research into the organization and use that in the interview room. That will really help you stand out. We then impress with our knowledge of the actual position. So we want you to be able to demonstrate that you know what doing a good job looks like. You understand what you're going to have to do and you know how to do that to perform well in this role. Link your experience. One of the biggest mistakes candidates make, and we'll talk about this on Tuesday with interviewing questions, is they don't link their experience or their achievements or what they've done to the position or the question. You've got to draw a link between what you've done and what this employer is looking for you to do. Show that you understand the impact that the position has and how important it is. A great example is a receptionist. For some people, they go, oh, it's just a reception role, it's just administration. For some people, they say, I absolutely love working in reception. I am the front of the organization. I'm the first person that people see when they walk in the door. I want to give them a warm smile. I want them to have a great first impression of the organization. I want them to think how pleasant I was to deal with because I know that that impacts the organization really well. Show that you understand how important your position is. And then impress with what you will bring to the team. As I said before, the person interviewing you might be the person who's going to work with you a lot of the time. You're a potential colleague. So make them want to work with you. Make them think, hey, I'd really like to work with that person. That would be really enjoyable. So what's with all the research, James? You're asking us to do a lot of research. Why are you asking us to do so much research? Well, here is a quote from Stefan Wielak, who's a well-known recruiter in Melbourne. He works at a software company called Explore, and this is a post he popped on LinkedIn a couple of months ago, and I want to read it to you. Credentials on your resume will get you that first interview, but it's not the key to your next position. Looking at the people we recently hired or who will be joining us shortly, there's one thing they all have in common. They were uber prepared. They have dug deep into what we do and stand for. They impressed with their understanding of our business and the problems we're trying to solve. Yet, not all of them were exactly what we were looking for. On the opposite side, I interviewed a candidate the other day who looked great on paper, but when I spoke with her, she had no idea what we were doing and said she'd only research a company once she lands an on-site interview. Well, it's a Zoom interview these days. Though if you haven't spent any time researching our company, you're missing the mark. I understand doing research takes effort and you don't even know if it will pay off. However, that's exactly what other applicants do to get the job, and they're the ones you compete with right from the beginning of your application. So that is hearing it from the horse's mouth. Stefan, I'm not calling you a horse, but you know what I mean. We must do our research because that's what the best candidates are doing, and they're using it to stand out. A candidate who's able to answer questions confidently and gives the interviewer a great sense that they're going to be a top performer. All right, video interviews. What about video interviews? Because they are, well, if you're in Sydney and in Melbourne, that's the only way you can be interviewed at the moment, as well as some of our other states. So I'm going to play for you actually a video that's on our Candidate Coach website, which shows you how to best prepare for a video interview. Hi job seekers, James here from the Candidate Coach. One of the most common questions we've been receiving lately is around how to best prepare for a video interview. Due to the circumstances over the last 12 to 18 months, video interviews have become the most common way of meeting a candidate, replacing the in-person, face-to-face interview. So here are my top tips for what you need to do to make sure you are best prepared and presenting yourself as well as you possibly can when your interview is over video. So there's 4 main things that you really need to consider. The first thing is camera height. This is the biggest mistake that a lot of people make, is getting the height of their camera wrong. If you've got a laptop, for example, that is sitting on a desk, you need to lift it up. The camera should always be at eye height. You want to imagine the lens of a camera is the eyeball of a person. So if you are looking down at your laptop or your phone, it's going to look back up your nose. So keep the camera positioned at eye height. One of the great ways to do that is to buy a tripod, something like this. So if you don't have a tripod, it's well worth going out and spending the money. Here's another one that I've got here. This one in particular I find to be really, really good. These have both got lights which help, but this one here, you can adjust it to a full standing height if you like. And it's available for not much money from a retail store. The second thing that is really important is the lighting. So having the light shining on your face. You don't want to have light shining from behind you because that creates a lot of glare. So have the light shining on your face, sit with a window facing you so that you are looking nice and clear on camera. The third thing is audio. You need to be in a nice quiet space so your voice comes across clearly, so that you don't have to yell, so that the sound is not distorted. If you are using a laptop, make sure you check about the sound direction. Some microphones only record from directly in front, and if you tilt your head sideways, the audio quality can go down quite significantly. And the fourth thing is, remember to show some personality with video interviewing. A lot of people speak to a camera in a different way that they speak to a person. So again, look at the lens of the camera and imagine you're speaking to a person. Smile, talk with your hands if that's what you do, but don't look around the room. If you're nervous, don't look down at your hands. Look at the camera
and give an answer as if you were giving it to a person. This can be challenging, particularly if you are being asked to record answers and there's not actually a person that you're speaking to, but personality definitely comes through on video, so make sure you show yours. And with everything, practice. If you're not sure how you're going to present, or you think, I don't think this is going to work really well, set up your camera, hit record, and just speak to the camera. Talk, see how you look, and practice several times. This is going to be the new norm, or not the new norm, it is the norm for quite some time now. So it's really important that you understand how to best prepare for video interviewing. Good luck.
Thanks for that, James. Great video there, and you can watch that video again on our Candidate Coach website. So, alrighty, let's get stuck into post-interview. So we've had the interview now, and again, come back on Tuesday morning, and we're going to talk about how to answer the questions really well. But a lot of people think that the hard work is done. There's nothing more I need to do after the interview, and this is a mistake because a lot of the time, when interviews are finished, we might have started with 10 candidates. We've ended up with 3 or 4 that performed really, really well, but we haven't made our final decision. We've still got to do references. And so there's still an opportunity for you to keep on impressing after the interview. So here's a couple of things you can do. Send a thank you email within 24 hours. I'll absolutely love it when I interview someone and I just get a short, hey, James, thanks for meeting with me yesterday afternoon. I really enjoyed our interview. I look forward to hearing from you soon. That's all it takes. And I like that. And most recruiters like that. And my opinion of that person actually, it goes up a little bit higher. Do it. Send a thank you email. If you've been asked to do something, you need to do it straight away. So if they've said, send me through a copy of your references, can you send me that portfolio? Can you get me a bit more detail on this project? I'm going to send you a test to do it straight away. The quicker you can do it, the more you will impress them. Take more than a day, you're losing ground. Get it done quickly. Show you're responsive. Showing you're responsive now is suggesting that you'll be responsive as an employee. If a timeline hasn't been established for communication, it's okay to check back in 3 or 4 days. Hey, just checking in. I know we had our interview last Friday, wondering if there was any update. Don't let it go for 1 or 2 weeks. Check after 3 or 4 days. And just remember that at all times, be polite, professional, and positive. You are always on show the whole time until you've been told no. So preparation is the key. That's what we've said today. It's your friend, and it is something that you can do. Now, if you're still wanting more assistance, head back to our candidate coaching website. We've actually got 2 videos here. 2 videos. One, we're calling interview preparation, getting the basics right. And the next one is taking your interview from good to great. Go and watch these videos. You'll hear from 7 different recruiters. They're on our candidate coaching website. These videos are absolutely fantastic. You will learn a lot from these videos, even if you think you are well prepared. Go and watch them. Now, as I mentioned on Tuesday, we're back here. So this is all of our workshops for August. We're halfway down today. We've knocked off number 4, which is interviewing prep and performance. Tuesday next week at 10 a.m., not 12, 10 a.m., how to give great interview answers. I'm going to show you how you can give the best answer to the most common interview question, and then we're going to run through a whole other bunch. I'm going to tell you how you can craft great answers regardless. Also next week, we're going to talk about job hunting tips, where you actually go to find the work, what you need to do in a competitive market. Following week, we're going to talk about how you can land a graduate job, and then finish off with what we call our masterclass for the end of the month. But we're running 2 a week on our Facebook channel and on our partner sites. All right, so just a reminder of what's available to you on your candidate coaching platform. We've got video coaching, resume and cover letter templates. We've got interview questions. You can take practice online tests. We've got checklists you can download to make sure you're best prepared. Read articles. We've got a specific section for executive job seekers for you to check out. We've got some mental health support, which I'll show you in a moment. More upcoming workshops, and this is all provided to you for free. Now, before you go, if there's one thing that I can get you to do for me, it's actually to do a quick 2-minute survey. So if you've attended one of my workshops before, you know that I love to get your feedback. So I'm going to drop this link into the chat function. If you're watching this via our Facebook page, please type that URL in And it don't take us 2 minutes, and it's just me asking, what did you think of the session? What did you get out from it? And what else would you like to know? So please do that. Also love it if you could follow us on our LinkedIn page. So follow our LinkedIn page because we post daily things on there, lots of tips, lots of tricks, lots of great resources, and lots of upcoming bits and pieces. But to finish off today, mental health of job seekers is a really important topic for us at the Candidate Coach. So I'm just going to press play, and you can stay online if you like, and hear from Dr. Sarah Barker, who's a workplace psychologist, who talks about some of the challenges that you might be facing if you're looking for work around your mental health. So goodbye from me. Enjoy watching this video. Please complete that survey, and I'll see you back here Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Bye-bye for now.
If you're not feeling terrific at the moment and you feel like your mental well-being has taken a little bit of a dip, please remember this is not going to last forever. There's lots you can do to manage your mental health and get back on top of it. I am Dr. Sarah Barker. I'm a clinical psychologist. I've worked in workplace mental health with Black Dog Institute for the past 7 years. A lot of adults and young people, mainly with anxiety, depression, trauma as well, a range of issues, and many who are looking for work and undergoing that process of trying to find employment. Looking for work causes mental strain because our identity is tied up with our work. Work gives us meaning, it gives us purpose, it gives us company and connection. So it's stressful for lots of reasons looking for work, and it can take a toll on our mental health. It's really important for us to be aware of the signs that our well-being and our mental health might be dropping. Probably the biggest sign is changes in behaviour. So that might be changes in the way we're thinking or talking to ourselves. We might be saying things like, who would employ me? I'll never get a job. We might be really down on ourselves and really hard and critical on ourselves when normally we're not so hard and critical. We might also, in our relationships, change our behaviour. We might be more snappy or more irritable with people that we love, that normally we might be a little bit irritable sometimes, but not irritable in that way. Losing interest in things that usually sparked us and ignited us and gave us joy. So perhaps usually we like walking the dog and suddenly we start thinking, I can't be bothered walking the dog today. That sort of thing, those changes in behaviour are really significant because they tell us that something's different, and if we're noticing, I suppose, more than one of those and it's affecting the way we feel, and this is over a period of say 2 weeks or longer, then it's a really good idea to have a chat to a GP that you trust, and find out what might be going on, have a discussion and see if there's any physical reasons for that, or if perhaps your mental health and wellbeing might be able to do with a little bit of extra support, and then the GP can refer you on to see a psychologist, a counsellor, whoever is most appropriate for you. There are so many great things you can do to look after your mental health when you're looking for work, and it's really important that you do. My very top tip would be really talking kindly to yourself and being compassionate with yourself. I think when we're looking for work, we can have a lot more questions like, will I ever get a job? Will I ever be employed? It can feel like this could go on forever. So being kind to ourselves and saying things like, it will work out. There will be a day, my efforts will be rewarded. It will just take time. I'll just need to keep trying. Reminding yourself of your strengths. And that might even be tapping into people you love and asking them what your strengths are, because sometimes it's harder to find them when our mood's a bit low and we're feeling more worried. We can be harder on ourselves. I think that routine is really, really important to our well-being. When we're looking for work, we mightn't have such a regular routine because there mightn't be a 9 to 5 start and finish time for a job, or there isn't. So instead, thinking about looking for work as a job in itself can be helpful. Having a start time and a finish time can be really helpful, and some set tasks that you hope to achieve that day. Purpose is really important too. So purpose might come through routine, but it can also come through other things. Meaning's really important, and our work gives us meaning. So when we're looking for work, meaning mightn't feel like it's there as much. Part of what we can do is infuse those tasks with meaning. So I am doing these things today, I'm looking for work, and that is meaningful in itself because there's an end goal to this. It will be something that's good for me and good for the people that I love as well. Some excellent resources for looking after well-being when looking for work are the Headgear app. The Headgear app is free, it's evidence-based, it's developed by Black Dog Institute, and it is fun to use. It uses mindfulness, so a technique to really help us relax and reduce physiological arousal, which can often occur when we're feeling anxious. It's got a 30-day challenge, which is just short, bite-sized little challenges to extend your well-being and grow your well-being, and that can be really extra important when we're looking for work. There are also some really terrific resources available through the Black Dog Institute. One of them is a beautiful self-care plan that encourages you to think about your top coping tips, the things that personally work best for you, that are positive coping strategies. Another really good resource is through Beyond Blue, and they've got some excellent resources to look after mental health while looking for work, and also when people are recently out of work as well. Probably time to seek professional assistance when you notice your mood is lower and you're feeling more down than usual, when you're worrying more and perhaps worrying excessively about things that you wouldn't normally worry about, and perhaps in your relationships too, when you're more tense with people and perhaps more snappy or irritable. All of these are signs that perhaps our mood is not in the greatest space and our well-being is not in the greatest space, and that it can be a great idea then to chat to your GP, who can then refer you to an appropriate person to help you strengthen your well-being. It's very common for people to have a dip, but please know that that's not going to last forever, and that there's lots you can do through looking after yourself, but also through getting access to professional support that can really give you a boost again and get you back feeling good as you're looking for work.